Good evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. We're live here in Abuja. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Two strategic roads constructed by the Hope Uzodinma administration in Imo State have been inaugurated. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony virtually, described as gladdening that his administration's policies as well as the manifesto of the governing All Progressives Congress greatly influenced the state government's resolve to make a difference. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the report.
The infrastructure projects, the Assumpta to Hospital Junction Road is the gateway to the south-south from the southeast, while the World Bank Federal Secretariat Road, named after President Muhammadu Buhari, is a major link between the residents of the densely populated area and the rest of Owerri, the state capital. The roads are part of the 46 infrastructure projects embarked upon by Governor Hope Uzodinma in his first year in office, with significant strides made towards their completion.
It might interest the Excellency to know that under my administration's shared prosperity agenda, the provision of critical infrastructure ranks very high because our people are deeply into commerce and always on the move. We need to provide them facilitating environment to turn an urgent necessity. Our road revolution is therefore a timeless response to the survival needs of our people.
Governor Uzodinma, who takes pride in surmounting the challenges he met on ground and surpassing the expectations of the people, said beyond the 46 roads projects, Imolites are also enjoying a new lease of life in health, education, agriculture, youth empowerment, and rural development sectors. President Muhammadu Buhari, who described the roads as quite symbolic and strategic, commended the Imo State Governor for setting ambitious targets, thereby clearly demonstrating his administration's commitment to the welfare of Imolites.
I am delighted to witness this success story. There is no doubt that they will go a long way in making the life better for the people of Imo State and residents and visitors alike. I urge the Governor to sustain the momentum and accelerate the pace of good governance.
The President congratulated Governor Hope Uzodinma for his tenacity of purpose, which has seen him doing quite a lot, particularly in roads infrastructure.
Thank you very much and congratulations to the government and people of Imo State for successful 1 year in office. I pray that you will keep the flag flying.
The inauguration of the project is part of the week-long activities marking the first anniversary of the Uzodinma administration in Imo State. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Senate is considering a bill that seeks to amend the Nigerian Labour Act of 2004, which seeks upwards review of fines in the act. The bill, sponsored by Senator Francis Onyewuchi, observed that the labour fines as contained in the current act are obsolete and cannot presently stand as deterrents for employers of labour. The bill, which has passed second reading, seeks to check unlawful termination of contracts by increasing the fine from 800 naira for first offence to 500,000 naira and from 1,500 naira to 1 million naira for second offence. It also proposes an increase on the fines against forced labour, inducement of an employee, and the denial of maternity protection by an employer. The Federal University of Health and Medical Sciences in Ekiti State Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, also passed second reading. The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says her office will continue to support the federal government to ensure more medical facilities and vaccines are made available for the country. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala stated this when she led her team from Geneva on a courtesy visit to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Kenneth Nanim reports.
Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala assumed duty as the Director General of World Trade Organization about 2 weeks ago and is on a week walking visit to her home country, Nigeria. The new WTO DG is thankful to President Muhammadu Buhari and Nigerians for the support given to her to attain such position. She pledged the commitment of the World Trade Organization to ensure a review of export restrictions occasioned by COVID-19 with a view to enable member countries have access to medical supplies needed to contain coronavirus.
There were 91 countries at the beginning who had restrictions and prohibitions on export of medical supplies and equipment. We are now down to 59. So we've reduced considerably, but it's still too many in my view. So one of the things the WTO can do is to work with members to reduce these export restrictions.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, acknowledged Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's track records, which brought her to the international scene, and expressed the confidence that she will bring her wealth of experience to bear for the country to benefit in the global trade and investment businesses.
Your tenure will bring succor and relief to countries that are under intense economic pressure, with the budget deficits left, right, and center, with the deficits in infrastructure, housing deficit. We definitely believe that your tenure will bring succor to each and every one of us.
The WTO DG and the SGF were on the same page on the need to initiate policies that will engender good governance in the country. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
In related developments, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says the African Continental Free Trade Agreement area has given Nigeria an opportunity to revive her pharmaceutical industry occasioned by the gaps pronounced by the COVID-19 pandemic. She was speaking at the Central Bank of Nigeria, where she was received by the Governor, Godwin Emefiele, who expressed determination of the regulator as well as government to address insufficiencies that resulted in the closure of factories.
What are we doing to see that our own domestic manufacturers of pharmaceuticals have the appropriate environment they need? We've now seen what happens. If you have this pandemic and you don't have some ability to provide, you have to wait. Sometimes in a queue where there is supply scarcity. And we've been pushing and pushing through COVAX, but you see everybody is demanding these vaccines. So I think, and medicines, I think we must learn the lessons now, because there'll be another pandemic in the future. What are we going to do now to establish the capacity, reinvite investment into that sector?
We would need the support of institutions like yourself to work with us. We may have faltered in a few areas. I'm not going to deny that. We will be willing to engage with you in areas where we have concerns. And if those concerns are addressed, I want to assure you, Madam DG, that we will work with you.
In another news, Nigeria will continue to explore ways to attract more foreign direct investments to promote national development. Acting Director General of Directorate of Technical Cooperation in Africa, Mahmoud Adamu, stated this at a workshop in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
With weak economic growth and COVID-19 pandemic driving decline in remittances, World Bank projected Nigeria could lose $2 billion from the diaspora. This is a situation development partners here are concerned. This workshop is to explore ways to improve and sustain Nigeria's diaspora foreign direct investment with a view to investing in critical sectors of the economy for national development.
Since its creation, the Directorate has implemented programs and activities under its scientific and technical exchange program STEP. funded under the Nigerian Technical Cooperation Fund, NTCF.
Remittances by Nigerians abroad back home are very important, and it is time to direct them into sectors of the economy where they will benefit both Nigerians and those Nigerians who are abroad and invest.
Yes, there has been some reduction in diaspora remittances, but it is not as much as the 20% that was initially thought of.
The forum is to come up with far-reaching resolutions critical to driving growth.
The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill that seeks to grant powers to National Assembly to summon the President on issues bordering on national security. The bill, sponsored by Representative Sergius Ogun, also seeks to grant similar powers to state houses of assembly to summon governors of states. The House noted that the Constitution as obtained presently has no provision that expressly grants such powers of summon on the legislature on issues of national security or related matters. The Constitutional Amendment Bill was referred to the House Committee Review Committee for further legislative action. Newly appointed Acting General Officer Commanding 7th Division Nigerian Army and Commander Sector 1 Operation Lafia Doli, Brigadier General Adelokun Abdulwahab Eyitayo, has charged troops of the division to be aggressive and fight the enemy in accordance with characteristics of war by being dogged and bold. The new acting GOC gave the charge while taking over from the immediate past GOC, Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim. Maimuna Garba reports.
The new acting general officer commanding 7th Division and Commander Sector 1 Operation Lafia Dole, Brigadier General Adelokun Abdulwahab Eyitayo, who had served in the theater-led troops in combat at Konduga and captured Baga Town in 2015, has now redeployed for the third time. He said the challenges in the theater are not strange to him and charged troops to be courageous in carrying out their attacks.
If you make peace very difficult to achieve on account of a peaceful talk, it becomes inevitable on account of a settlement of one-to-one, high boss to high boss also. So we are going to make sure that Boko Haram, they are completely liquidated.
The outgone GOC Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim, while addressing troops of the division, urged them to continue to be disciplined and ensure they carry out offensive operations at night. He enjoined residents of Maiduguri to continue providing useful information to the security operatives.
Maiduguri, Borno State generally, despite the little you hear, is better than what it used to be before. Schools are opening, a new university just opened, commercial activities are going on a mega scale, people travel.
Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim has been posted to the Nigerian Army Resource Center in Maiduguri. Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Still on security matters, an extraordinary security council convened by Kaduna state government is in progress in Kaduna with relevant stakeholders at the meeting being presided by Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai. The meeting is coming on the heels of sustained efforts by security personnel for the rescue of 39 abducted students of Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, Kaduna, and the 3 teachers of Rema Local Government Education Authority School in Birnin Gwari. And now, let's go over to our Kaduna Network Center where Salamatu is standing by. Hello, Salamatu.
Ayo, and welcome to Kaduna. Desirous of sustained innovation and production of sufficient military fighter vehicle, Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, visits Command Engineering Depot, Kaduna, to take stocks of efforts being made in the production of needed military hardware for the armed forces. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun reports.
It is a new day for officers and soldiers at the Command Engineering Depot, Kaduna. home of innovation and production of indigenous military vehicles for the Nigerian Armed Forces. Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, undertakes assessment tour to workshops where mines-resistant vehicles, mines rollers, patrol vans, among other operational vehicles, are produced locally by the command depot of the Nigerian Army, an effort propelled by the Buhari administration to reduce over-dependence on foreign countries for military requirements in dealing with prevailing realities. The maiden visit by the Chief of the Army Staff is affirmative of his resolve to ensure sustained provision of military vehicles to support the Nigerian Armed Forces in the battlefield. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun, NTA News.
The Nigerian Customs Service has intercepted contraband worth more than 148 million naira within the last 2 months in the Kano Jigawa Area Command. Area Controller of the command, Suleiman Umar Pai, made this known in Kano. Our Salisu has the details.
Since the presidential directive to reopen migratory border, the Nigerian Customs Service encouraged patriotic citizens to take advantage and engage in legitimate businesses through the border. The Kano Jigawa Area Command, however, embarked on sensitization campaign to markets and border areas on dangers of smuggling. The recent arrest was made after weeks of intensive operations by the command's intelligence unit and other anti-smuggling teams in synergy with other security agencies. The contrabands confiscated include foreign rice, vegetable oil, couscous, spaghetti, condensed milk, and second-hand clothing, among others, worth more than 148 million naira.
It is to the detriment of everybody. Even themselves will not be at ease if they allow arms to come to this country, because the insurgency starts around the border area.
Area Comptroller Kano Jigawa Area Command said they will continue to sharpen their intelligence and enforcement in compliance with the extant laws and procedures to ensure success in the battle against economic saboteurs. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
That is it from here. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Ayo Deji after this break.
I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher yo mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher jọ̀wọ́, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi. We no happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. Hey, we are trying, Shao. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, that's why I talk with that now. Not for me. Not for me because of Pamio.
from dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day. NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Welcome back to Abuja. Earlier, we told you about an extraordinary Security Council meeting which has been convened in Kaduna State, and of course the governor of the state, Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai, is presiding at the moment. Let's join our correspondent Mohammed Umar Ajingi, who is live at the venue to tell us about the issues at the extraordinary council meeting. Now, Mohammed, let's bring us up to speed. Tell us more about the security meeting at the moment.
In view of the security challenges in the state, the recent being the abduction of the students of Federal College of Forestry and Mechanization in Africa, and the lectures of yesterday in Rima village in Binungwari, as well as other attempts in different locations in the state government has decided today to convene an extraordinary Security Council meeting, very different from the usual Security Council meeting they hold every week in the state, to discuss some of these issues and find possible ways of ending the problem in the state, particularly that of securing the release of the abducted students almost immediately. The meeting started since noon, and as I'm talking to you at the moment, the meeting is still on with senior citizens of the state in attendance, traditional rulers including the Emir of Zazzau, that of Binungwari, as well as Jama, including religious leaders. Sheikh Ahmed Gumi is also at the meeting as also head of security agency.
In addition to that, can you equally tell us, beyond these people that you mentioned earlier, that you told us that are attending the meeting, what about the formation and the security personnel that are present at the meeting as well?
Of course, the Commissioner of Security and Home Affairs here. As I told you, other heads of security agencies are also present in this very special meeting.
Obviously, we'll definitely be connecting with you to get some updates from the meeting there. Our correspondent, Mohammed Umar Ajingi, will thank you for joining us on Nationwide. It's that time on Nationwide when we join Dotun in our Lagos Network Center. And of course, Dotun is ready with other reports on COVID-19 protocol violation.
Thank you so much, Ayodeji. Now, cultists in Lagos State henceforth risk a 21-year jail term as Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu signs cultism and unlawful society prohibition bill into law. Musa Toliat reports that the state government also criminalized violation of COVID-19 pandemic protocols.
The new coronavirus pandemic law 2021 seeks to put an end to flagrant violation of protocols to check the spread of the pandemic and prosecute violators.
It gives the courts powers to fine and in certain cases to even imprison violators of the law. It has also made a provision of 20 billion naira available in the budget for fighting the pandemic.
The law also frowns at adulteration of the COVID-19 vaccine in any part of the state.
We're not permitting vaccination outside of the accredited facilities that we have designated. And our regulatory agencies, if they find it happening, the sanctions are going to be very severe. So I'm discouraging Lagosians or anyone else in Nigeria, don't try and acquire your own vaccines from sources. First of all, we don't know if the sources are legitimate, if you're using fake drugs, if they've maintained the cold chain. So we have to protect citizens of Lagos State and Nigeria.
The two other bills on Public Service Procurement and Audit Service Commission underscore the need to ensure probity and accountability in public service. The laws came in handy as the governor swore in 2 permanent secretaries in the offices of works and infrastructure in the state.
You hold a critical and strategic role in preventing wasteful spending and corruption in public procurement. The government and the citizens of Lagos State, especially the taxpayers, count on you to keep the procurement process as transparent as humanly possible.
Members of the new governing council into the Public Procurement Agency were also sworn in by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
It's exactly 3 months since the Seme land border was reopened, but trade and business activities are yet to pick up. The positivity, however, is that the situation is bound to improve with business operators along the corridor already taking steps to increase the volume of trade. Michael Olale reports.
Seme, a vital gateway to Africa's hinterland, is the busiest land border in Nigeria. And despite the federal government relaxing the 16 months closure of land borders, recuperating has been slow but steady. Precisely missing is the thickness and intensity of import and export, which usually trickle down to improve commercial activities among the people.
Since they opened the border, the activities here is very, very low. Because of the exchange of Benin Republic, people they come like the way they used to come before.
But I think I like it. It's gentle, and you are crossing, nobody gives you wahala.
Regardless of the atmosphere around this corridor, the customs service was still able to intercept goods worth 110 million naira within 3 months. But the satisfaction here is that the agency has handled 220 trucks of goods coming from other West African countries, while 600 trucks of goods have been exported since reopening.
When the borders were open, Nigerian Customs Service gave conditions for such type of goods to be brought into Nigeria. One, they must arrive in Nigeria in their original mode of transportation. So far, we are yet to start that. Not our fault. It has to be the private sector, that is shipping company, the terminal operators.
Since concerted efforts to improve trading around the corridor require synergy, business operators are cooperating with concerned authorities to eliminate impediments.
The Benin counterpart, they are still giving us headache. They don't want to abide with the protocol, transit protocol, that says that we only have administrative fee to pay to them. They still want to collect money from us as if we are paying the normal duty to them.
The optimism is in the air and will definitely heighten with each passing day, and the outcome will no doubt be positive. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
And those are the stories from here. Let's rejoin Ayodeji in Abuja for more reports.
Thank you, Dotsu. Back here in Abuja, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has reassured Nigerians of the safety and efficacy of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine against COVID-19. The PTF says no severe reactions have been recorded from any quarters since commencement of the vaccination in the country. Kenneth Nanim reports.
The safety and efficacy of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is trailed by conspiracy theories, especially in some countries where the vaccination has been discontinued due to reports on blood clot as side effects. The Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shoaib, explains the situation and dispelled insinuations that the vaccine is of inferior class.
The World Health Organization and its Vaccine Advisory Committee has advised that there is no reason to stop using the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Similarly, the UK's regulator has also determined that evidence does not suggest that the vaccine causes blood clots.
The arrival of vaccines has not in any way distracted us from pursuing the national response to COVID-19 as originally conceptualized, which is to test, detect, trace, isolate, and treat for the avoidance of doubt The virus is very potent.
The PTF also urged Nigerians to report any adverse effects experienced to the nearest healthcare facility or use the med safety application developed by NAFDAC for adequate monitoring of such development.
The side effects are usually mild, which include fever, cough, symptoms of cold, and maybe the general feeling of unwell.
On international travels, the PTF explains commencement of KLM airline operation, but frowned at the attitude of some persons who tender fake COVID-19 test results at the airports.
We will be opening Enugu on the 3rd of May, 2021. We'll be opening Kano on the 5th of April, 2021, and Port Harcourt on the 15th of April, 2021 for international flights.
Emphasis was also on the need to continue adherence with the non-pharmaceutical safety protocols while vaccination is in top gear in various states. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 238 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The breakdown shows that Lagos recorded 72 new cases, Kwara 28, Bauchi and Kaduna 19 cases each, Edo 17, Ogun 15, Nasarawa 13, Rivers 10, FCT 9, Ondo 8, Akwa Ibom, Gombe, Niger and Osun have 5 cases each, Plateau 4, Oyo 3, Kano 1. There are now 160,895 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, with 145,752 cases discharged. 2,016 persons have died from the virus in the country. In another development, elder statesman and former Federal Commissioner for Information Edwin Clark has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for making available the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccination to Nigerians. He was speaking after taking his vaccine in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you? Fine, sir.
This special team of vaccination officials in the FCT were in the house of 94-year-old Chief Clark in line with giving priority to the elderly in the administration of the vaccine.
Good, excellent. Perfect. Perfect.
You're not going to rock, you just hold it for a minute.
Okay, no problem. We have problems like every other country in the world.
Chief Clark urged Nigerians to maintain high level of discipline and show of patriotism by availing themselves of the vaccination.
I have to congratulate Mr. President and particularly the PTF headed by the Secretary of the Government, and I had to watch them to see what was going on.
This vaccine is very, very safe and free. As I speak to you now, I will say that we have taken already.
At the time of vaccinating Chief Clark, 1,670 persons were already vaccinated in the FCT. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Still on COVID-19 vaccination, let's tell you that the exercise has commenced in Nasarawa West Senatorial District, where the state governor, Abdullahi Sule, has encouraged people to participate. Blessing Danfulani reports.
The AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine was first administered in Nasarawa State on Governor Abdullahi Sule, followed by Deputy Governor Emmanuel Akabi, among other top government officials and frontliners. The vaccination exercise for Nasarawa West Senatorial District kick-started at the Federal Medical Center Cafe and later conducted at the Federal Polytechnic Nasarawa in an effort to conscientize the public, especially grassroots, on the need to take the vaccine to protect themselves against the COVID-19 pandemic.
I'm so excited to be the first person like this because I want my people to accept it.
It is important for us to take it very seriously, to take the job, and to thank the federal government for making this possible.
So the essence of taking this vaccine is to ensure that your body develops a kind of immunity that protects you against catch coming up.
those of us that have collected the vaccine, we have noticed that there is no problem. We didn't feel any side effect.
When I took the vaccine, I feel okay.
The 10-day vaccination implementation exercise continues across Nasarawa State. In Kefi, Blessing, and Fulani, NTA News.
For more on COVID-19 vaccination, let's join Ugochukwuka in our Benin Network Center. Good afternoon, Ugochukwuka.
Afternoon, Ayodeji, and still on COVID-19 matters. Governor Godwin Obaseki wants all Edo residents to disregard any claim or fear of reported symptoms associated with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. The governor was speaking at the flag-off of the COVID-19 vaccination in the state, where he led other top government officials and frontline health workers, supporting staff and strategic leaders to receive the vaccine. Elizabeth Omoko has details.
It says all key materials and consumables for the vaccination will be distributed appropriately to ensure successful implementation of the vaccines in the states.
I am encouraging all of us in Edo State, go ahead and take your vaccination.
The vaccine is a powerful tool in preventing COVID-19. It is an additional tool. We will all continue with the non-pharmaceutical measures, which includes the use of masks in public.
The first phase of the administration of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in the state had 7 senators, top government functionaries, other political, religious, and traditional rulers, all at hand to lead the fight against the deadly virus.
No reaction. Of course, the thing is just nice, just fine.
I'm happy I've taken mine, and I want to use this opportunity to appeal, of course, the general public to make themselves available for this vaccine.
So I want to tell everyone that it is safe.
As soon as the first phase of this exercise is completed at the end of 12 weeks, vaccinators are expected to be at the various designated posts across the 18 local government areas to vaccinate the populace as soon as the second batch of the vaccines arrive the states. In Benin, Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
And now talking security, Ekiti State Police Command has risen from a security consultative meeting with key players in the 3 senatorial districts of the state with an appeal to the public to support it in crime fighting. Kende Durodola reports.
The meeting was part of the means to synergize with the various stakeholders in the 3 senatorial districts of the state to find lasting solutions to farmers and herdsmen clashes, kidnapping, caning, and other insecurity challenges in the state. The State Commissioner of Police harped on the importance of community policing and security consciousness.
Police alone cannot do it. We need information. You understand me? So it cuts across all this, all strata. So anytime they need my support at headquarters, I will always compliment.
Representatives of farmers, herdsmen, traditional rulers, local hunters, and other concerned stakeholders advocate collective efforts to check the menace of kidney and clashes among farmers and herders, as well as other causes of security threats.
The government should do its own part in achieving security for the people. Security is very important. Any kind of method they want to use to restore peace is what we need.
We are appealing to government, most especially our security in Ekiti State, to help us.
Stakeholders at the meeting expressed readiness to support the police to secure the state for the interest of all. In Ado-Ekiti, Kende Durodola, NTA News.
And at this point, we take a break. The news continues thereafter in Abuja. Please stay tuned.
Greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support, yes, by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
The second wave of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic is upon us.
To safeguard lives of our people, government has signed the health protection regulations, which makes wearing a face mask mandatory in public places.
Wear a mask. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Wash your hands regularly with soap and clean water. And use hand sanitizer.
COVID-19 is real. Do not be infected. Do not spread it. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Life is a game. We are cool. We are trendy. Energy moves us. Sports is our game, our oxygen. Because with the round leather we ball, we hustle. All over the land, north and south, we are united in the positive glory. We are encapsulated by HIFL. We live for the game. It's game time. Showing on NTA Network every Saturday at 4:30 p.m.
Thanks for staying tuned. Reports just reaching us now, we can authoritatively confirm to you that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says the travel ban placed on all passengers into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will be lifted with effect from 6 a.m. in the morning of Wednesday, 31st March 2021. Furthermore, the statement adds that with effect from the above stated date, Saudi citizens will be allowed to travel outside and into the kingdom. The travel ban on international flights would also be lifted completely as all land, air, and sea entry points shall be opened. Let's move on. The need to key in science and technology sector into the economic sustainability program of the federal government to support the informal engineering and technology activities has been stressed. Minister of State, Science and Technology, Mohammed Abdullahi, who made this appeal during the opening ceremony of the ongoing 5th edition of the Technology and Innovation Expo 2021 in Abuja, said this is imperative at this time when government is doing everything possible for the survival of the economy during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. The minister frowned that it is unacceptable that Africa, comprising 54 nations with a combined population of 1.216 billion, with all its human expertise, scientists and researchers, is unable to produce a vaccine for its people, yet in this critical time of global health emergency.
Funded, capacity improved, and incentivization of both researchers and investors. That way, Nigeria and indeed Africa can key into the current global biotech revolution for us to be self-sustaining and be a key player in the search for vaccines, not only for COVID-19, but for other elements afflicting the continent. To further give a boost to funding of such activities, it has become imperative subject to regulatory framework, to float what we call an R&D bank to support activities of research and development.
Imagine, can there be a world without mathematics? Answers to these questions resonate as experts in the subject, including the Director General of the National Mathematical Center, Professor Stephen Ona, explains deep-rooted gains of mathematics and why its phobia must be addressed in Nigerian schools. Thomas Ogbetere reports.
The world has made tremendous progress from gains recorded in the area of mathematics, though the current phobia among Nigerian students presents a serious challenge. Director General National Mathematical Center, Professor Stephen Ona, believes the International Day of Mathematics presents the right opportunity for the projection of new theories, models and tools that can change the perception of mathematics as a difficult subject.
National Mathematical Center, in conjunction with other agencies of government in this area, have been developing means of making mathematics interesting to learn. And that is why today we have given some publications in the area of games. We have developed series of games in mathematics. And when students are learning through these games, they do it as if they are playing games. And so now interest is beginning to pick up.
Experts in the subject matter are focusing on mathematics for a better world, with all stakeholders encouraged to give priority to the International Day of Mathematics in their annual programs. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
Let's now join Jenny in our Port Harcourt Network Center for more stories on Nationwide. Good evening, Jenny.
And welcome. Agriculture has been identified as an endeavor which can reduce the country's overdependence on oil. Governor Wike spoke when he received the Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Mustafa Shehiru, when he paid him a courtesy visit at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedinyekere reports.
Issues that received attention were the non-politicization of the agricultural loan offered by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the need to implementing agricultural policies dispassionately to achieve the intended food security and job creation for the teeming youth of the country was also discussed. Governor Wike outlined some of the achievements of the state government in the area of agriculture.
It is not in dispute that to take the country out of where we are, that agriculture is key. Agriculture will employ a lot of our youth, will give them job. Then in terms of food security.
Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Mustafa Shehiru, said he is in the state to inspect ongoing and completed projects of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development funded by the ministry.
I am aware of enormous potential of cassava production in this state as a major crop commodity. And to let you know that the federal government will specifically support the farmers in Rivers State with new technology that will address the problem of low yield to allow them have access to improved varieties of cassava.
The minister assured that the federal government, through the ministry, will continue to support farmers and artisanal fishermen in the state. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekere, NTA News.
300 beneficiaries in the south-south states of Akwa Ibom and Cross River have been chosen for the first batch of skill training support for ex-militants. Achibombasi reports that the Presidential Committee on Small Arms and Light Weapons and the Leadership Initiative for Transformation and Empowerment are currently implementing the Nigerian component of the ECOWAS Small Arms Project, which is mainly a pilot weapons collection program.
The first batch of beneficiaries are being lifted to various centers across Nigeria, where they are to undergo training on skills of their choice.
The training job is a job that is in my mind.
The Nigerian component of the ECOWAS EU Small Arms Action under the current pilot phase focuses on 7 states of Kaduna, Katsina, Kebbi,
Sokoto and Zamfara in the northwest region, and Cross River and Akwa Ibom in the south region.
We'll have a budget for starter pack for each of them. We'll have to give him the equipment. I will have to mentor him for 6 months.
It would be recalled that the Cross River State government and relevant security agencies had conducted arms destruction exercise in Calabar in January this year, and the public destruction of these weapons signaled the commencement of the ECOWAS EU Small Arms Action in Cross River State.
Cross River State make every logistic that is needed for this movement to be achieved in terms of their stipends.
In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News.
Ayo, that's it. From here, it's back to you in Abuja.
All right, Jenny. Thanks. The Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB, has apprehended 2 of its staff for allegedly defrauding Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME candidates with the promise to help them secure admission. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Named and shamed, now it is only regrets for Andy Okoro, a Level 12 officer in Delta State Office of JAMB, and Gambo Ibrahim Abba, a Level 8 officer at JAMB Headquarters Abuja. The two were said to have collected the sum of 500,000 naira from parents of 4 candidates with a promise to get admission for their children.
In reality, I gave money to somebody in the admission department this morning and got me completely into this mess. So I'm so sorry.
They both ran out of luck when one of the parents petitioned JAMB on Okoro's activities, a move that prompted the board to investigate the issue in line with its zero tolerance for corruption.
Anybody who does that will, of course, will be detected. And once that is detected, they will be sanctioned, because we will not tolerate people to drag us into what I believe had been a thing of the past.
Similarly, a tutorial center operator at One Man Village in Nasarawa State, Bayo Olajide, was caught for collecting 6,500 naira registration fees from would-be UTME candidates, even when JAMB was yet to commence sales of form for the 2021 exercise.
For students that they come around that they want to do a session, that we normally tell them that they should come for the lesson. Then when the session commences, we will start them.
JAMB's head of public affairs, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, advised parents to desist from cutting corners as there is no shortcut to success. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
From that story from the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, let's join our sports desk now for sports updates.
2021 Nigeria School Sports Federation Administrative Seminar for School Sports Coordinators and SUBEB Sports Officials kicked off Tuesday at the National Stadium, Lagos. About 30 school sports officials from various parts of the country are taking part in the 2-day workshop with the theme Repositioning School Sports Through Strategic Management.
We know that government cannot do it alone, so it is essential that we teach our people how to ensure that we have sporting activity through other funding.
Ondo State basketball team has emerged champions of the just concluded 2nd edition of Blitz Zik Basketball Clinic Challenge held at the Akure Sports Complex, Ondo State. Team Ondo defeated Team Osun 86-44 to emerge champions of the 3-day basketball clinic.
To give opportunity to children that have interest in sport and to encourage them to combine sport and education.
The tournament featured 4 states, including Ogun, Osun, Ekiti, and Ondo states. Renowned NTA sports journalist and former Olympian Hamid Adio has advised sports writers to acquire sound technical knowledge, get familiar with contemporary rules guiding sports, and use good communication skills to make themselves relevant to the exciting world of sports. He gave the advice at a lecture organized by the Kwara State chapter of the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria for the sports journalists in the state.
The primary aim is joining the profession because you want to contribute something positive to society.
On the foreign scene, actions resume on Wednesday in the UEFA Champions League as Chelsea square up against Atletico Madrid, while defending champions Bayern Munich will
face Lazio in another match. With sports updates, Samuel Johnson, NTA News.
And sports updates runs off nationwide. I'm Ayo Deji Makinde. Please remember to connect with the NTA in the fight against rape and rapists to be a star. Good evening.